Yankee Willie Randolph, he does it all. Pro photographer Fred Conrad, he catches it all with his Canon AE1 program. More advanced to capture Willie's sheer grace at second base. More camera to follow Willie all the way home.
Hey, can I try your Canon?
Sure, it's simple.
In sun or shade, it's a snap to use. The Canon AE1 program, so advanced, it's simple, and more of both.
Canon is proud to be the official 35mm camera of the 1984 Olympics. Like gold medalist Jennifer Chandler, it takes precision to perform at this level. Here, the Canon AE1 program performs, capturing Chandler's high diving artistry through Canon's high technology.
And it's so simple, you flip for it.
Canon's AE1 program, so advanced, it's simple.
Oh. So I have been testing this AE1 program for a little while now. A friend gifted it to me back in New York City when I was there last year. So things got off to a bit of a rocky start with this camera, I'm going to be honest. When I first received this camera, it already had a roll of film in it, so I thought I'd make the most of it and go through the last shots of the roll. That was during my time going across America on a motorbike, and I got some epic shots on this. Luckily I had backups because all the photos that I got from that trip on this camera came out as blanks. So I decided to play it safe with this camera and switch it to program mode, basically changing all the settings to automatic and essentially making it a point and shoot camera. But after a couple rolls developed, I noticed that the shots were a little underexposed for my liking. So to fix that, what I did was I changed the ASA, the ISO settings in the camera, to half of what the box speed was. So for instance, if I had a roll of Portra 400, I would switch it here to 200. And same if I had Kodak Gold 200, I would switch those settings. Instead of shooting it at 200, I would shoot it at 100. And voila! The shots dramatically improved and it was exactly what I was looking for. So now, so far with this camera, I have kept it in program mode, to be honest, and essentially making that a point and shoot, which is really what I wanted it for. But if you are feeling a little bit adventurous and a little naughty and you want to play around with the manual settings, then I'll walk you through what I know so far. So setting the film speed, like I said, some of the shots that I initially took were a little bit unexposed. So what you need to do is push in this little button here where it says ASA, and at the top there's a little dial and you can move that around until you get the speed that you need there. So winding up your film once you're finished, there's this little lever here that you can flick up, and it has a little arrow in there to direct you which way you need to wind up the film, in case you have no idea like myself. So this little button here is for a battery check. Now if you push that in, you'll hear this sound. Now make sure you check that before you go on a wild goose chase. Right here is your hot shoe if you're connecting a flash, which can be plugged in here as well. Over on the other side, we have our shutter settings. I have it in program, but it goes all the way up to 1000 and all the way down to bulb, which no, I haven't tried. So we have a few different modes here. If you flick it into the top mode where it says A, that stands for action. Actually, I'm not sure if that's what it stands for, but that's what it means to me. L is for lock, so you don't go wasting shots when this camera jumps around in your bag. And down the bottom you have S, which is self-timer. I haven't used it, but you click it over to S, press the shutter, and you got about 5 seconds before it takes a photo. If you change your mind, switch it up to L and it'll cancel, or press the battery check button. So up here is your shots window, which counts all the cool shots that you've taken so far. So in front of the camera, we have some more buttons that I don't use, but I'll show you what they're for. So this little black button on the left side of the camera, if you are taking photos on a bright day, maybe portraits, and it's backlit, you would hold that in, focus it on a dark spot, bring your camera up, focus your shot, and then take your photo. But doing that, you'd also have to hold this in the whole time, which is no bueno for me. The other button below with the silver trim automatically adds 2 stops of light, so they both sort of do similar actions. So if I wasn't shooting program mode, I probably would use this little black button just to get a light reading, because inside it will show you if you've set it at 5.6 aperture and you push that little black button, you can readjust speed until it matches 5.6 on the inside. So that gives me a shutter speed of 8 and 5.6 aperture. This little switch here is called a depth of field preview. So basically what that is, if you flick this up and you push it in, it locks the current settings. And if you look through the viewfinder, it will either be too dark, too light, or look just right. And it's basically trying to tell you what your photo will actually look like once developed. I don't trust it, I'm a little bit skeptical, but if you have, let me know in the comments below if it worked. So on the other side is where the battery goes. This can be a little tricky. If you got nails, you can get it open. You just gotta flick it in there. Oh, and there you go. Opens up, that's where your battery goes. So underneath the camera, what do we have? We have the tripod mount there. This button is for when you finish the roll. I'm not gonna push it because I still have a roll in here. But you push that down, you come over on this side and you flick this latch over, hold that button down underneath, and where that arrow is, you start to wind it up and keep going. You'll feel it tight, and then as soon as it gets loose, it should be fully wound up. Do a few extra rounds if you're not sure. Then you lift this up and the back will pop open and you can take your roll of film out. If this step you are unsure, just comment below and I can walk you through it, or watch another YouTube tutorial on this because there's plenty of them out there. Anyways, I just wanted to share my thoughts and views on this camera. To begin, it was very daunting to me to use it, but I've come to really like it and see it's actually a great camera with all the features. I'm very used to, as you know, the Fujifilm Class AS point and shoot, but this is a lot of fun to use as well, and there's actually some shots you can get with this that you can't really get with the Fujifilm or a point and shoot camera. It's also great knowing it's got an interchangeable lens. This one's a 35 to 70, 3.5 to 4.5. Actually, this is a great lens. It gets all the shots that I really need. It would be nice to get a 70 to 200 to really zoom in and get those creepy shots from far away. Or even a wide angle would be very cool. Plus, it looks super retro, right? Which is why we're spending all this money on film, right? For the retro look. In a nutshell, the Canon AE1 program was a bit of a blind date for me, as I'm accustomed to point and shoot cameras. But I think it's a great entry-level SLR camera for beginners. You can start on program, and once you get a little bit more comfortable, you can start playing around with different settings, and you can do a lot with this camera. Okay, that's it for me. Until next time, peace out.